What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingNews.com. Welcome back to another one of our previews. The fun continues, man. We got a lot going on this weekend and really next weekend as well. But this weekend, we will focus on the 4 Kentucky Derby prep races. And for this video, we're going to focus on the Robert B. Lewis Stakes coming up at Santa Anita this Saturday. Going to be race 8 on a loaded card here at Santa Anita there on Saturday. Race 8. I'll put it up on the screen for you now. Like I said, Robert B. Lewis Stakes should be, like I said, a pretty good race here. It is a small field of 7, but, at least they did get to 7. I think that always, is a worry when you talk about Santa Anita and Southern California racing. But field of 7 here in the Lewis. Grade 3 event here, going 1 mile. And let's go through it. Field of 7, give you a winner, hopefully, at the end. We'll give you a top 4, actually, at the end. We're doing that now. So, all right, let's start off with the number 1, Desert Gate, a horse that I've been excited about as far as this race goes for a bit here. I do really like this horse. This horse is by Omaha Beach out of a Curlin mare. He just kind of strikes me as one that I think is going to get better this year. Maybe not, right away, but I just feel like he's going to develop into something. I was actually excited to kind of bet this horse in a cold exacta in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. I kind of wanted to go Ted Nafi over Desert Gate. I really thought Desert Gate would run well in that race. Of course, he didn't enter and he had to scratch. I believe he scratched before they even, entered or drew the race. So if I remember correctly, missed that start and has kind of been working towards this start ever since. And I think he's going to come into this race pretty darn good. I think he's working out well. You look his race in the American Pharaoh right here. Got beat by Intrepido, but I feel like he's going to move forward off of that race. Del Mar Futurity got second, only beaten a length by Brandt, and then the 2 races there at Del Mar, the Best Pal and the Maiden, both victories. I like this horse quite a bit. I think, I think this is kind of the target ever since then, and I think he's going to sit here and run a pretty good race in this spot. The number 2 is another Bob Baffert runner, Plutarch. Plutarch is a horse by Into Mischief out of Stellar Wind. If you remember Stellar Wind, a great filly in her own right on the racetrack, another dam of Curlin. So the dam sire back-to-back here being by Curlin. Plutarch, I probably, Truth Serum has probably been a little disappointing to them so far. This horse was second on debut, going 1 mile at Del Mar in a maiden special weight. Tried the Del Mar Futurity the Del Mar Juvenile Turf, I should say, on the turf there. Got second in that one. Went to the American Pharaoh where he got third, and it was very close between him and Intrepido and Desert Gate. Then tried 2 more races on the turf. Went back to Del Mar for a turf race, got third there. And then finally, you might have thought, well, hell, this horse hasn't won yet. Well, it took his 5th start. He broke the maiden on the turf going 1 mile and 1/8 very impressively by 4.5. He was entered in a turf race about a month ago now. Scratched out of that one. Going to run here in this one. Pretty interesting horse, no question about it here. Florent Giroux, who has moved his tack to Southern California, will get the mount here on Plutarch. Pretty good mount for your first weekend in town. I like Plutarch a little bit. Let's just see. Let's see what happens here. I think it is weird. We're turf or dirt to turf, and now we're back to dirt. We'll see what happens. It took a while to get the maiden broke. I do think this horse obviously is bred very well. I think stretching out eventually is going to be what this horse wants. He did break the maiden at 1 mile and 1/8, albeit on the turf. So I'm very interested to see what happens. I don't know if this is a race for him, but I do think there might be a race for him in the future where he's going to show up and look pretty good. Let's look at the number 3, Cherokee Nation, next. Guess what? Bob Baffert has this horse as well. Good to be Bob here. This horse is still a maiden. That's the bad news. Horse by Not This Sign out of an Indian Charlie mare. I think 1 mile is going to be where you see him at his best. 3 races back, he finished just a nose behind Mr. AP, who went on to finish second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile in that race. And like I said, I thought Cherokee Nation ran very well. Jockey Club was next. Kentucky Jockey Club was next. Got 5th in there, being 9 1/4. And then I think it was very disappointing. Went back to a mile race, a maiden race at Santa Anita back on January 9th and lost by a half length to a horse that's in this race we'll talk about in a second. This one's not for me. Would it be shocking if Bob Baffert, won this horse with a maiden? No, not really. But I don't know. To me, I was kind of I wouldn't say all in on him, but I was kind of excited about him. Last time out, he was 8-5 in that maiden race as well, and he just couldn't really finish the job. And I didn't think he ran all that well. So maybe he bounces back here, but I prefer the other two Bafferts over this one. The number 4 is Intrepido, and Intrepido, a horse I mentioned earlier, won the American Pharoah 2 races back right here over this track and at this distance. A son of Maximus Mischief out of a Pleasantly Perfect mare. Did not run very well at all in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile his next start. Got 5th, beaten 10 lengths. Just never, went backwards basically in the stretch. Never was able to make up any ground there. He has a win over Plutarch 3 races back. I talked about that when he beat him in a maiden special weight going 1 mile. I think this is another one. I think he's definitely well meant for this race. Would not be shocked at all if he gets the job done. I tend to lean Desert Gate over him, even though they matched up and Intrepido beat him. I just kind of think Desert Gate got a lot out of that race. But I think, look, if you're going to go Intrepido, I don't really blame you. I just kind of feel like, I don't know. I didn't like the Breeders' Cup Juvenile very well. I kind of think this time around Desert Gate's going to get the best of him in this spot. The number 5 is Briggs Army Power. Briggs Army Power by Army Mule out of a Tappet mare. So kind of a sprinter on the top, longer distances on the bottom. This is a horse that looks completely and utterly overmatched. I'm not seeing it here with this one. 2 races back was running at Arapahoe, and the first 4 races of this horse's career were at Arapahoe. Then he comes up to Turf Paradise, where he runs 10th in a stake. So this is a total throwout to me. The number 6 is Robusta. Robusta actually was able to beat Cherokee Nation last time out. I mentioned this horse at 24-1. This horse got the job done. Why was the horse 24-1? Well, he debuted at Del Mar in November at 70-1, and he ran 7th, beaten 8 lengths. Got behind So Happy, Winston Avenue, a couple of decent horses in there, but really did no running. And then last time out, just got on the lead and said bye-bye. Stretched out from 6.5 furlongs on the debut to a mile last time out, and like I said, won in gate to wire fashion at 24-1. I don't like Cherokee Nation a whole lot in this race, so I don't like Robusta a whole lot in this race either. Just a half length separated the two. I didn't think that maiden in general was all that good, so I didn't really want anything out of it. So not for me in this spot. Maybe plays a part in the pace. We'll see what happens there. Certainly ran a pretty good race when getting the lead, and just couldn't get the lead on debut. Tried to kind of chase it a little bit and couldn't get there. So we will see. One maiden race I did like quite a bit was the maiden race on Malibu Day, which was December 28th, where Secured Freedom, the number 7 horse, was able to get the job done over Captain Shreve by 4.5 lengths. This was a very strong race. Now, let's back up, because on debut, this horse, November 22nd, same maiden race as Robusta. He actually debuted, talking about Secured Freedom as well, was 4th in that race, beaten 5.5 by, So Happy, Winston Avenue. So Happy, a very nice horse, obviously, has turned out to be, and won the San Vicente a couple of weeks ago in pretty impressive fashion. So Secured Freedom, he ran okay in that race, and he comes back and runs a massive race. As far as time form US figures go, he has the highest one of the field. The problem is it was earned at 6.5 furlongs, not going 2 turns of 1 mile. So can the horse stretch out to go 2 turns? Well, he is by Practical Joke out of an Uncle Mo mare. That doesn't, to me, scream, 1.25 miles, but does it scream mile? Yeah, I think he's okay going a mile. I think he'll be just fine. He's very interesting. Can he repeat that high of a number going 2 turns? I think that's the biggest question mark. Can he get a mile? Yeah. Is it going to be his absolute best distance? I think that's questionable, although not out of the question. I will say that for sure. So I think this is definitely one to keep an eye on here. Number 7, Secured Freedom. I think he'll run pretty well in the spot. Like I said, that maiden was pretty good. I mentioned he beat Captain Shreve in that maiden special weight. Captain Shreve did come back to run 2nd to Potente last weekend. Potente got a 79 buyer for that effort, so not a great performance. But a first-time starter. I mean, it wasn't too bad for Potente. I don't want to talk negatively on him. He was okay, but Captain Shreve, was really green in that race. Kind of felt like he was going to pass him, and he just kind of bobbed and weaved and ran a weird one. So I don't know, long story short here, I don't know how good that race was that Secured Freedom won, but he beat horses. Maybe they weren't that good, but he beat them how you should. He absolutely dominated that race. So I think he's in with a big shot as well. All right, field of 7 here. I'm going to go number 1, Desert Gate on top. I do like him. I've kind of been waiting for Desert Gate in this race. I just kind of feel like this is a really good spot for him. I think he's going to run very well here. I did put the number 7, Secured Freedom, in second, number 2, Plutarch, in third, and the number 4, Intrepido, in fourth. It's hard to get real creative because I just don't think the 3, the 5, and the 6 have much of a shot here. I think 1, 2, 4, and 7 really stand out over 3, 5, and 6. So I think it's going to be, just getting the order of that right. So number 1, Desert Gate on top, number 7, Secured Freedom second, number 2, Plutarch in third, and the number 4, Intrepido in fourth. That'll be my top 4 for the Robert B. Lewis. All right, guys, thanks everybody for watching this video. Hit that like button if you like it. Hit subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting Santa Anita this Saturday.